Hey everyone, welcome. I am Dragon Rider, also known as Dawn, and we've just had a mini set within the last few days, and we also have a major tournament going on this weekend with Masters Tour Onxia's Lair. Now, there sometimes is some overlap between decks that you see on ladder and decks that you see in especially big tournaments. So, I'm going to cover kind of the three most popular decks that have been brought to the Masters Tour that you might want to keep your eye out for because there's probably a good chance you're going to see at least one of these on ladder. As we jump in, I'm going to show you these dashboards with tons of data that you can use, put together by Wicked Good. Now, this is for the Masters Tour, and when you go to the deck distribution tab, you can kind of see a visual graphic of the distribution of decks that have been brought. So as we can see, the three most popular are Shaman, Druid, and Demon Hunter. Although I think Druid, especially, probably is not really surprising very many people on how much it is being brought, the Demon Hunter and specifically the decks that are being brought and a couple of the card choices are pretty interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised for us to start seeing those on ladder. So, again, looking at this, we can see Shaman, Druid, Demon Hunter, with Shaman, the most commonly brought deck being Burn Shaman. QuestFel Demon Hunter is the most brought deck for the Demon Hunters. And in Druid, it is a little bit more split between Ramp, Spell Druid, and Beast Druid. And even in those decks, there are some similarities. So, Burn Shaman, I'm not going to go over a lot because we've already kind of been seeing that one. But here is a very common Burn Shaman list. And one important thing here is just that this is a little bit of a slower deck. It's going to take some time to try to build up some of those kind of combo cards and try to do a lot of damage in one turn. Then looking at the Druid lists, the first one here is Ramp. Again, this one we've kind of been seeing. There's a little bit of new addition with some of the new cards. This also kind of a bit of a slower, more build up kind of deck. Now it starts to get interesting. This spell variant, we haven't seen a lot of the spell decks in the more recent months of Hearthstone on ladder or in tournaments, but some of the new mini set cards have kind of brought Spell Druid back. And I definitely think this is going to be one of the big decks to watch out for, especially on ladder. It focuses a little bit more on board rather than dealing a ton of damage from hand. I think easier for a lot of players to just be able to grab a deck list and try to jump in and play it on ladder. And the final list that I want to talk about is this QuestFel DH. I think this is the most interesting that we're seeing a lot of. And it does seem likely that we might be able to start seeing more of this on ladder as well, especially if this starts to show up a lot on the streamed matches for the Masters Tour. Now, the big thing for this and for the Masters Tour this weekend is the inclusion of Double Glide. And I think this also speaks to the two decks that we already mentioned, which is the Burn Shaman and potentially that Ramp or Spell Druid, because there is a chance that, especially the Burn Shaman, is going to be needing more time to build up their hand, hold cards to go off in one turn, and Glide definitely disrupts that plan. So the glides are very, very interesting. And one thing that I also find very interesting about these decks, especially the Druid decks and the Demon Hunter decks, is that they do kind of have multiple win conditions. There kind of can be multiple win conditions with Burn Shaman, but it definitely has more of a straightforward kind of one game plan, which I do think that the players who brought these are going to have a little bit more flexibility and can try to win games without relying on specific pieces if they can find the other ones. So, again, just referencing this dashboard, again, I'll have it linked in the comments below so you can check that out. There's a ton of different tabs that you can check out that will get updated throughout the weekend as the Masters Tour gets played out. I just want to put this out there because, again, I think there is some crossover between ladder and tournaments. And I do think that the big tournaments, especially, influence what people play on ladder. So keep your eye out for these type of decks specifically, thank you so much for watching and checking this out. Let me know if you would like me to do a deep dive into any of these decks, especially ones that might end up doing well over this weekend. And if you did get something or enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that others can find it as well. And good luck to those playing the Masters Tour this weekend. I hope you go out there and make today legendary.